Hi there, gorgeous! In today's video, I'm reviewing a few makeup products from a brand that has popped up very recently by the name of Copycat Beauty. Several of you have been asking me about this brand on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, so I wanted to put a few of their products to the test with their high-end counterparts. And if you're not familiar with this brand, it's basically how it sounds. They take high-end makeup products and make them more affordable, similarly to the way that Makeup Revolution has done so many times in the past, but they are a lot more blatant about it. If you go on their website, they basically tell you which high-end product they are duplicating with their products. And the spokesperson for this brand is someone called Bad Baby, better known as Danielle Bergoli. She is a female American rapper, and I believe she signed a contract with them for the next 6 months or so. So we'll go through this review. I'll show you the high-end palette or product on this side with the Copycat Beauty on this side, and I'll let you know. Are these worth checking out or not? First, applying an eyeshadow primer. I'm using the Milani one today. The first thing that threw me off about this brand, I'm being honest with you, is when I got the packaging, this is what it looks like. Okay. You see that? The brand is called Copycat Beauty, but on all of their makeup products, it says Go To Beauty, which, I don't know, that's a little unsettling to me because why didn't they take the time to brand it to be their own? I mean, many of you know that I have my own lash line, Inky Minky Lashes. It's not that expensive to do private label packaging. This looks like they basically went with a manufacturer that just had their name written on their palettes and didn't even bother to do their own private label packaging. Moving on, the first product I'm testing out here is their Cocoa palette, and this is a supposed dupe for the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. And if you look at these two palettes side by side, you can absolutely see that they did duplicate the Too Faced palette shadow for shadow, although they do not have any names on their eyeshadows, so it's a little hard to reference which ones I'm going to be using. So in the application, I'm just going to be referencing them by the Too Faced names. I don't know how wild and crazy we're going to get with this look. All I'm doing today is going to a toddler birthday party, and I'm pretty sure they don't care, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to take the purple eyeshadow from each of these palettes, which from the Too Faced palette is called Livin' Lavish. So we'll apply the Too Faced one on this side. I feel like that's the best way to start, is with the high-end product first. And I'm using purple because purple is one of those eyeshadows that can be really hard to make. And if you've ever experienced any really bad drugstore purples, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Next, going in with the one from Copycat Beauty, which is much more powdery by comparison. It doesn't hold itself together as well as the Too Faced palette, but the pigment is pretty extreme there. I mean, that looks really, really good on application. Just so you're aware, because I know some people are sensitive to smells, so I am going to mention this. This palette does have a very distinct, I want to say, plastic smell to it, the one from Copycat Beauty. So be aware. It's not obnoxious, but it is there. So far, so good. Next eyeshadow I'm taking is the one called Cocoa Truffle from the Too Faced palette. I'm going to use that in the crease. I'm going with a simple look today. Keep it simple. Now I am going to use the Rollin' in Dough shade from the Too Faced palette because it looks like a shade that matches my skin tone. So I'm going to use that for blending. And I'm using that along the edges of where I applied Cocoa Truffle there. Beautiful blending. So far, so good. Looks really beautiful over here. From the Copycat Beauty side, I'm also taking that same matte brown from this palette and applying that in the crease in the same way. Beautiful pigment so far, no complaints. We'll see how it blends. I'm hoping that it blends as well as the Too Faced side, or I'm gonna be walking around with two different eyes today. Then I'm gonna take that same blending shade from the Copycat palette that I used from the Too Faced palette and attempt, let's see, does it work? To blend out the edges of that matte brown. I was really curious because the Copycat Beauty eyeshadow looked like it was going to be more white in comparison to the Too Faced one, but doesn't look like it. It looks like it's blending in real well. Although, if you look, now that I'm really looking at this brown eyeshadow, if you look at this eye now, compared to this eye over here, the Too Faced brown is more red, whereas the Copycat brown has become much more of a deep brown. So there is a difference between those two sides. I've never seen it before, but it's almost like that eyeshadow oxidized once it hit my skin, because I felt like initially when I applied it, it was a reddish brown, but now it's more of a deep brown. Is that possible? Can eyeshadow oxidize? Stranger things have happened. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face, and then I'll come back and show you the last two products I have to test. The last two products I have to test out here are a highlighting kit that is supposed to be a dupe for the Anastasia Glow Sugar Kit, and a brush that is supposed to be a dupe for one of the Marc Jacob brushes. So we'll start with the brush, okay? One of these I haven't looked, I purposefully didn't. One of these is Copycat Beauty, the other one is Marc Jacobs. And the way that I'm going to do this, because I really want to see if Copycat Beauty has been able to dupe the Marc Jacobs brush. If you've not tried a Marc Jacobs brush, then you know they are super spectacular. They're very soft, and it's probably one of the softest brushes, with the exception of the Fenty Beauty brushes, because those are pretty soft too. But these are incredibly soft. So, all right, I'm going to close my eyes and really feel the bristles. Oh, they're pretty doggone close, I have to tell you. I'm going to say that this one is the Marc Jacobs. Yes, it is. But yeah, it's really soft. I will tell you that, the one from Copycat Beauty. But the Marc Jacobs one is a touch softer, just a touch. This is a pretty good try, though. I will give them that. The Anastasia Glow Sugar Kit. This is the version from Copycat Beauty. Okay, and if you look at that in comparison with the Anastasia palettes right here, you can see they're very similar looking. And I'm going to swatch them side by side so you can see for yourself in the swatches. I feel like there are some similarities here between the two, but for instance, the Copycat Beauty palette has a straight out pink highlighter in it, where there is nothing like that in the Anastasia palette. Taking Gumdrop from the Anastasia palette, I'm first going to apply that on the side where I've applied the Too Faced eyeshadow already. So we'll put Gumdrop up here. And as can be expected with Anastasia's highlighters, very beautiful formula. Small amount on the brush is needed to get a bright glow on the skin. I mean, I did not have that much there. Now with the Copycat Beauty side, I'm going to wipe my brush really well. I'm going to take that same shade that's supposed to be a dupe for Gumdrop, and I'm going to apply it now. It's a highlighter, granted it is, and it's great pigment. Once you get it on the skin, I don't feel like it swatches that well, but it's more pink. It's noticeably more pink over here compared to the Anastasia side over here, where it's more white. And I'm hoping that you can see what I mean. It's still pretty over here, don't get me wrong, but it's not a dupe. And after wearing these products on my face for a straight 11 hours on the day that I was testing them, this is what they looked like. Nothing had moved, everything remained intact. The highlighter was still very strong on my cheeks. I did not really care for the eyeshadow and the way that that looked. I felt like that eyeshadow may have oxidized. It looked muddy by the end of the day. It wasn't as fresh looking. It could just be the color too, but it didn't look like I had two colors on my eye to me. Now, are these Copycat Beauty makeup products dupes for the high-end products? No. They're not. They're not very good dupes at all. And I feel like I've tested out so many dupes on this channel that I know what to look for in a good dupe and I know what to look for in a bad dupe. And sadly, these did not make the cut for me personally. If you are looking for excellent quality dupes, I would recommend looking to the Makeup Revolution brand, Bad Habit Beauty. Shop Hush's website also has a lot of excellent quality makeup products that are usually dupes for some higher end makeup products. I also wanted to make a side comment here. If you watch videos of Bad Baby talking about the Copycat Beauty makeup products, she's not well versed on what they are or what they do. She's basically guessing at what they are, and it's almost like she's experiencing them for the first time herself, which to me gave me a bad feeling about the Copycat Beauty brand. If I am looking to someone who is the face of a brand and they don't even know the product that they're talking about and that they are representing, that doesn't sit well with me as a consumer. So I wanted to point that out to you and make you aware of it. That was my take on it, but would love to hear your thoughts on this brand and what you think about it, either based off of today's video or if you've experienced it yourself. Feel free to share your thoughts below as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.